Hi there, my name is Yaseen Abbas. I'm in my third year of the Health Sciences program at McMaster University. And today I will be presenting my work titled Undergraduate Medical Students and the Transition to Online Learning, a Scoping Review. So let's start off with some background. In March of 2020, institutions around the world were required to make an unprecedented, rapid transition to online learning and delivery. This was, in some cases, done over the span of merely a few days, and had the potential to have extremely detrimental impacts on student-related outcomes. Two especially important outcomes identified in previous literature include student well-being and quality of education experienced, with concerns raised in regards to stress, level of stress, anxiety, and engagement and motivation issues on both hands, respectively. So the focus of the study was to assess these student-focused outcomes related to the transition to online learning due to the COVID-19 pandemic, specifically to medical students. So an a priori protocol was prepared and a search strategy was developed alongside the consultation with the library. The search was conducted using the MEDLINE databases. Here is the general inclusion criteria for your interest. And as you can see in this Prisma flowchart, which I will zoom into, so as you can see in this flowchart, the search resulted in 988 articles initially, which were brought down to a total of 8 articles after screening. Now, as we move on to the results over here, so as you can see over here, those 8 studies that were included are quite diverse in terms of country of origin, with the most common country being Germany, which included 3 articles. The median age of the participants, as well as the percentage which were male, are included in these tables for your interest. As we can see within our included studies table, while study design was incredibly diverse, a majority of studies assessed students in the preclinical phase of their studies. So these are students typically in their first to second years of studies, with only 3 studies including non-preclinical students. Our methods of data collection as well were fairly diverse. However, a vast majority of studies, about 5 out of 8 studies, did include some type of student filled out questionnaire. Our major findings can be summarized down here. Over 60% of our studies explicitly mentioned student satisfaction with online learning. In addition, despite a perceived positive learning environment, the studies suggest lower grades and weakened mental activity among students. So this existing literature that we've seen here is incredibly diverse, and we do have an abundance of literature assessing student-related outcomes through the use of questionnaires. However, the existing literature is limited due to a majority of articles assessing individual and unique course adaptations, as opposed to simply assessing the online transition. In addition, as mentioned previously, we do have a relative lack of non-questionnaire methods used to assess student-related outcomes. So this work generally was able to highlight both the detrimental and potentially beneficial impact of the transition to online learning associated with the COVID-19 pandemic on undergraduate medical students' well-being and educational outcomes. Findings reiterate the importance of student well-being and educational outcomes in difficult periods such as this transition, emphasizing the importance of motivation and burnout. Now, this work hopes to help inform individuals and policymakers and decision makers in potentially difficult settings in the future where such rapid adaptations in education are required, both on the undergraduate and potentially even the postgraduate level. I'd like to, at this point, thank Jack Young, who helped us in terms of the consultation and development of search strategy, as well as recognize my co-author, Dr. Savitri McLaughlin, for being my supervisor throughout this project course and providing so much help. With that, that's the conclusion of my presentation. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself, and I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you so much.